You are now listening to Artists at Work.
Artists at Work.
Artists at Work. Yeah. Welcome back to another podcast of the Artists at Work. I am your host, 1am, and my boo. Where you at?
Isaias. Hey, what's up?
We're here with the special guests. La Sofa Queen and Mariah. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
AKA Soulshine.
Hey, Soulshine. So, together you guys are known as...
Ruca Records.
Yeah. It's really excited to speak with you guys because this is like a new thing that you guys started. And I've known you for a while, and you've known me for a while.
Yeah, we've known each other for a minute.
And I'm happy to have met you too. And I really like what you guys have going on. So I definitely want you guys to express everything that has brought you to start this. What is Ruca Records?
I'm gonna let you take this one. I'm gonna pass it to my co-host.
Okay.
I forgot.
Get my notes real quick.
Yeah, we should have wrote notes. I think we're coming up on a year, honestly, as when it comes down to like when we were just sitting down in my bedroom just talking about it, which is crazy.
That seems like so long ago too.
We've come really far.
Yeah, bedroom, just sitting, chilling, thinking, daydreaming,
just spinning records, doing things that we don't do anymore.
Yeah.
Spinning records, just talking, you know. And we were both going through a lot of stuff. We were both going through a lot of stuff as individuals, and just
still are,
but much growth since then. You know what I mean?
Sure.
You're always going through something, but then you get somewhere else, and you get to look back, and the journey. Whoa, it was a journey. Ruca Records started in my bedroom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just chilling,
just spinning records.
What do you think about this?
Yeah. Hey,
she actually presented it to me.
Yeah, I did. Well, because I first started doing things in my backyard is where I wanted to start. I was like, I really want to get women together, and I want us to get in touch with our creative energy. And I'm friends with a lot of dope women who wanted to do a lot of cool stuff. And I was like, okay, like I have this big, beautiful backyard. Like, what if I just have you guys all come in my backyard and just do all the cool stuff you want to do, you know? And so I need to bring that back. It's been a while.
Actually, that was the beginning of it.
It was the beginning of it.
That was the intentions of it.
Every Sunday, well, not every Sunday, but like one Sunday a month.
Yeah.
I would bring like dope women over, and we just get in touch with our creative energy. And I called it Domingos para Divinas.
Okay.
And then we were just going through things, man.
Yeah.
We were like,
I mean, for me, when she kind of presented this to me, I was already making music as La Sofa Queen, and already a part of just organizing hip hop shows, and or just being a part of other lineups that you and I have been a part of as well.
Yeah.
And I guess at that time there was a lot of searching too, and also removing myself from places, from people, from spaces, and wanting to just cultivate a safer space, you know, a place where I guess I felt just more valued. And that's kind of, our friendship was pretty new too at the time. So it was a lot of newness, a lot of like just like let's do this, like let's rock with this, let's spin records. We love records. You know, we love spinning. We love playing music. I love performing. Love making music. She's a really dope poet as well.
Yeah, I just got in touch like with my spoken word part of me.
Yeah. So at the time wasn't performing, but now she's definitely blossoming into that. So that's dope to witness. And we were like, we should throw our own shows. You know, and no real like agenda. Is just a lot of let's do it for fun, let's do it for love, and let's put on other dope artists, women in particular from the area or like surrounding places that we can showcase and support. Yeah,
It's turned into Ruca Records, you know, from Domingos para Divinas to like, we both like music, we both spin like we both have a vinyl collection, and to like,
that's been the beautiful part, is seeing how that's grown.
Yeah.
The vinyl.
Yeah. Oh, and even our own vinyl collection has
just
like grown immensely beautiful.
Yeah.
And we've been blessed like along the way that I'm sure that we'll talk about. But like, man, like what if we started like scratching records, and what if we started mixing records, and like what ifs, and like also wanting to just create safe space for women to get in touch with their creative energy, like from where we began. And that's where Ruca Records kind of came from. And that's what it is, you know, we'll spread love through spinning records and creating safe space for women to get in touch with their creative energy. That's what it is.
There's a lot of dope artists, and there's a lot of dope women out there too. And so it's like we wanted to try to network and collaborate with them in particular. So
Okay.
yeah.
Did you guys meet at a vinyl shop? I'm just curious.
No.
I looked at her from across the room.
And I knew she was gonna be my bestie forever.
No, I want to say I don't think like we remembered each other, but it was Women's Circle.
Yeah, I really don't even remember exactly where. We were finding ourselves in a lot of the same places.
Okay.
And then so like, oh, her face looks familiar. And then like that just slowly and surely we named.
I knew you as Amanda before I knew you as La Sofa Queen.
Yeah.
Okay.
I really didn't.
I didn't share that part of me when
Yeah, I was gonna ask, did you know that she was a
No, I didn't. And then I think along the way I discovered like that you do what you do, and I was like, oh shit, she's
all Hannah Montana.
Hannah Montana. She's dope, you know. And I listened to her like album for the first time, like yeah, and it was crazy. Like when you were supposed to do like your album release party at the XL. Yeah. Like I was like planning on going because I had never seen you perform before. Never heard your music before, and I was like, this sounds dope. Like I want to check it out.
That was pre-pandemic.
I was like right when that was.
Yeah, that was literally the month that everything got shut down.
Yeah.
Wow. What made you guys want to pick Ruca Records? Like that name specifically. Like what inspired that?
Ruca. I'm not even sure.
Like the culture, history.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
the logo is like dope. You know, it reminds me.
Shout
of
out to Ariel Mar.
Yeah.
It was kind of funny. Like I remember, like, all right, well, we need a name, and we were shooting names back to each other, and there was some that were
there was just a lot of whack ones.
There's a lot of whack ones. Honestly, I
think you were the one that ended up.
I was the one who ended up picking it out, and it was because I was kind of already like in the, how do you say it? Like I was very like. We had like a group of friends. We wanted to start like a music page where we all shared music, and I really wanted to emphasize that we were like Chicana, you know? And I was like, okay,
I forgot about that music page. Sorry. Shout out to Vic.
Vic took it
holding
over.
it down.
It's Vic's Instagram
page now. Yeah, we started we'll talk about
that. So I was like, okay, so I really wanted to emphasize like, you know, the Chicana part. I was taking a Chicano studies class, and so I was like super into it, and then I just have always been really like in love with, you know, just looking like the old school Chicanas and you know, things like that, and like cholas and stuff like that. But you know, but Ruca comes like Ruca's like an old word, you know, where it's and now we like openly like call each other like that's my
Ruca. Yeah,
that's my Ruca right there, you know, like that's
it's
my
a term
girl.
of endearment.
Yeah, and just kind of bringing it back also. But I think I was scrolling through Instagram and there's this like page, Veterans and Rucas. Have you guys heard of it? And it's like just a bunch of old school photos. Like you could like submit your photo of your mom or whatever from when she used to take pictures at JCPenney's or whatever, you know, and
post it up with the cars on.
Yeah. And I was like, oh man, like I love that word Ruca, and like, and we're trying to like emphasize like vinyl and records and stuff like that.
Because we wanted to stay just very, I guess, exclusively to the records. That's transitioned a little bit. I still feel like a baby. I feel like you're definitely like advanced
when it comes down to what?
To spinning.
Oh no, don't.
I feel like a baby spinner. Still learning.
No, I'm still learning too. We haven't even came up on a year that we're doing this. You know,
I'm sure we're missing a lot of stuff. But
I remember I was like, what about like Ruca Rosa? And then
we wanted to put rose in there somehow. We wanted to incorporate a rose in there somehow.
But now it's just kind of everywhere where we go.
Yeah.
I mean, you got it in the design.
Yeah.
Too,
so that kind of, and even like the beginning, like drafts of like how we wanted the logo to look, and like
I have them all in notebooks
what
somewhere.
It's transformed to so much better than what we envisioned. Yeah. We have really dope friends that are great artists.
Thankfully.
And that's too, like, we wanted to encourage, like, here's our idea, like, merge your idea with it, and, like, let's create something even better.
Yeah.
With like, multiple visions, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, well, I'm not an artist. I can't draw for, to save my life. But we know people who can, and like, it's more than just like us two. It's like a multitude of other people supporting and collaborating, and it's not exclusive to women, but it's just we're women. So
yeah, that's the highlight of it all, though, because I mean, we love our men, but there's a lot of
you guys have a lot of stuff already.
For real. We need a turn.
I totally get
Respectfully.
it. I get it. I don't know like where this comes from, but like I've heard a lot of I guess popular figures in our our era, like on YouTube and stuff, but like a lot of men like know like the women era is like coming back. The age like we're going through, but like women are like supposed to rise up again. But I was raised by women, so like I guess more some guys are more masculine, some are more feminine, but if I was raised by women, like that's why I'm like caring, compassionate, like I know like love, like I was raised by women, so I learned how to like treat a woman. But just so you know, like because I know dudes give it a bad rap or whatever for us, but it's all good. Women are gonna do your thing. So
and men are very important too. Like they are.
They totally are. And they're not that we're not trying to exclude them in any way. They're very important figures. And if anything, I'm a really big believer in balancing the masculine and feminine energies in just one body. But we ourselves have just come to realize over time that there's very little space for women to do what they feel like they want to do. And there was even a point when we were like, okay, let's do this, and like we were going to try to do a set where it was all female artists. And we went through our record collection.
Oh, yeah.
And we were like, whoa.
We don't even have a lot of women artists in our record collection.
It was like 90% male artists in our own vinyl collection. And it didn't take we didn't even notice until we like sat down and looked through our vinyl collection. We were like, wow, like that just shows in itself the underrepresentation of women in the music industry, alone, and also like the artist community as a whole. And that's why we're doing what we're doing, like, is because we really just want to help show like women, little girls everywhere, that it's possible, and help create that space for them to do so.
Oh yeah,
so the
that's
first show that we did
important.
was the Women in Hip Hop, when we had you bless the mic too.
Ladies in Hip Hop.
Special
guest
show.
1 a.m.
That was the first show.
Yeah,
that
was
show?
Technically our first show that we
threw on.
We threw
because we were doing stuff in her
as
backyard.
Ruca Records.
Okay.
Already as Ruka.
Wow.
Yeah,
that was excellent. Though.
An honor.
It honestly like that show went so smooth, and it didn't even seem like that was the first show. Like now that I'm thinking back about it, like I didn't even realize that.
Yeah,
like
and
that's
that show
crazy.
got cut. Like that was supposed to be a way longer show.
Right.
It was supposed to turn out way differently too.
Yeah, but it still turned out beautifully.
But
though.
it did turn out really beautiful. And we're just, and also like it probably seemed that way because Sofa has been in the game for a while already, so she had her experience and
respect. Everyone pays her.
Like, and so like everybody's like, oh, La Sofa Queen, like I'm there, you know what I mean? And then you brought your own people, and not only that, but like the organization of events. Like I've organized a lot of events and throughout my entire life, not necessarily like music shows ever.
Yeah.
But then you've also had your experience with music shows, so everything just kind of came together like really beautifully, and there was just support.
And shout out to Rick Jams, huge support in that.
Yeah, we wouldn't have even had that show if it weren't for Rick.
Yeah, that show was, thank you for blessing us and just to continue supporting. Yeah, definitely.
He was a big like our fellow men, man, that really helped us along the way. Like we really appreciate it, like that true help, like that true support, like you can tell. And there's definitely what are they called? Advocates?
There you go. Yeah, advocates.
Like our male advocates.
Our brothers who just truly want to support with no, ulterior motives.
Yeah. Yeah. Just out of pure love for
Yes.
everything, and just respect again too, because you've been doing this for a long time
It doesn't
too.
seem like it. It
doesn't.
Really doesn't.
It doesn't. But
then like
thinking back, it's
it's
crazy.
been a minute.
I'm curious too, because like for the DJing part, right? Do you have experience with that? Because I know that you were learning that, right?
we're both still learning as we're going, but I would say like didn't have. Sorry, I don't know how to hold a mic.
I've been doing this for how long?
It's different. Like on stage, La Sofa Queen is just different. Do you feel that? Like,
A
do you
little
feel
bit,
the difference?
yeah,
Like,
a little bit.
When people, I don't know, like even when I host something, I feel more like, hey, hi, hey, what's up? Like I get more
Clicking your heels.
Yeah, like, I feel more awkward, and then like La Sofa Queen, it's like, yo.
Yeah, you own the stage.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just a different energy, I guess, that is being tapped into. But
What was the question?
DJing.
DJing.
Yeah. No,
Because like you seemed super natural up there, and like your
Yeah.
song selection. Well, obviously, because you guys listen to your records and you know what to play and like what's gonna make everyone feel good. But I'm just curious on like, I guess that transfer of knowledge. Like, where did you start with DJing, and then how was that process learning together? I know you're still learning, but you know.
We honestly picked it up at the same time.
yeah.
Okay.
Like we did. It's
Yeah.
just more of like and what's So,
Yeah.
okay, let me start
Well,
in one place.
we were starting off just spinning at her house because I didn't have the space at the time.
Okay.
And
On a
honestly,
on
we
a record
started
player,
off
right?
we started
Yeah.
off like on one record player.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like she would bring over records,
Yeah.
throw it on. Oh man, this is dope. I would throw something on, and although our music selection can be very the same, it can also be very different.
Yeah.
Very different. She's definite hip hop head over here, you know, and I love hip hop, have all my appreciation for hip hop, but my genres would tend to go to like funky stuff.
Yeah.
You know, but then when it comes together, it's very beautiful also. So it started off just like that, you know,
Yeah.
and then we're like, man, our collection together, like
was so
chef's kiss,
Yeah.
you know?
It's pretty sweet.
And I was like, screw it. I had like,
yeah, you pulled the trigger.
I pulled the trigger. I was like talking to multiple people, like, I really want to do this. It's something I really want to do. People were like, dude, do it. Like, you know, I love your music. You know, you always got dope music. Like, do it. And I was like, all right, for sure. I've been listening to music for a while now.
Yeah.
I could do it. I pulled the trigger. I had some money. I was like, whatever. And I bought another turntable. And I got gifted a turntable. So I went from like my, you know, like my simple, like, you know, record player that you have at home.
Yeah.
So I got gifted like a real professional one.
Mm-hmm.
And then I bought like another professional one, and I bought myself a mixer. And I was like, go crazy.
And then when she got that and that setup was set up at her house, I was like over there almost every.
Like
I was
all
there a
the
lot.
time.
I was
She
there a lot.
I was like,
Yeah.
girl, you want to sleep over? She's like, you got cats.
Yeah, I'm allergic to cats.
Oh,
She
I'm
could
sorry.
only be there for a certain amount of time before
Yeah.
she was like, I have to go. I was like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but yeah, that's how we started. So like, and we're just like, I was literally YouTubing stuff, like hitting people up, and I realized like, oh man, I know people, you know, like I had my friend Chicha Alyssa, and her dad was always in the garage when we were growing up spinning records, and it just hit me. I was like, oh man, like I know somebody, you know. Shout out to Soul Drivers.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to y'all.
They're also in the Monterey County. They're a really dope crew that and Sam, the homie Sam, helped out a lot. He gave me my first pair of speakers that bump, yo, and I still use them in my living room, and they bump. And
Yeah,
like
they do.
that just really like helped a lot. Like people were helping me along the way.
Mm-hmm.
And just
Blessings.
practice. And I remember like, man, like if there's anything that I've told myself like to get to where I'm it's just like dedicate like 10-15 minutes a day. Like I was remembering like when I taught myself how to roller skate, I was like, I went out every single day 15 minutes, you know, and like I taught myself.
Yeah.
And so I kind of just did the same thing like with spinning. And whenever Sofa could come over, I'm like, Sofa, come on.
Yeah. And she lives pretty not too far.
I live in Gonzales,
Yeah.
but that's still like a total of
little-
like a 45-minute drive, maybe like 50-minute drive, like back and forth together.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, like driving there and then driving back home.
and then our hours also.
yeah, my hours are always crazy.
And
Yeah. But for me, it was, like whenever I could utilize the space at her house was definitely going over there the most that I could. And then I was also spending a lot of time with Rick too, because Rick DJs.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So when I would go over there, and he has a sweet little setup too. But it was basically like whenever I could, I would go to where I had the access to the equipment, because
Yeah.
I didn't have the equipment, you know. And I'm still working on trying to get my own equipment, but it's, you know, it's hard out here.
I feel it.
But
Wow, that's cool though. I guess the only thing I could relate to is that I did like DJing. That was something that like interested me, but I was more into like the breakdancing, the art, like graffiti and stuff like that. So it's cool that, because like for me in Gilroy, like I don't see DJing really. That's like, it's very rare. Same with the breakdancing. So to see that other element being pursued continuously and still being like,
Well, practice.
yeah,
right?
practice, I guess.
Kept alive.
Kept alive. Like that's like the dopest thing, you know, to know. And I don't know too many female DJs like performing. Like I've only
don't.
probably had maybe one or two. And even then, like there was still like a dude there just like helping her figure it out. But it wasn't like she's doing it. Like she already knows, she's already got it. So that's cool that you guys are taking that route to just, I mean, utilize, you know, people that you do know, but then also taking the time to like teach yourself how to do it. Because that's kind of like another thing that's kind of like a dying thing. Like nobody wants to do anything. It's like super laziness.
oh,
But-
I feel you.
And you guys are doing records, like sometimes audio, I'm sure,
Yeah.
but like physically touching records.
Calling that.
Yeah, the weight.
Yeah, that's a lot of weight.
You know?
Legit.
We have roadies now.
We
shout
do.
out to our babies.
Shout
Out to my vato for
Our
sure.
Ruca Records staff.
He be lifting.
Man, yeah, for sure. Definitely helps with the weight.
but they do. Help
They
a
do
lot.
help
Yeah.
out a lot. Like they do help out a lot.
We see
Again,
it
our male
sometimes.
advocates.
Yeah.
Like before the show.
Yeah.
The crates.
With the crates.
I'm like, okay, get off stage. Just kidding. No, but it is dope. Like to, you know, like, and then when people like come around that have never seen us before, you know, and like they see us and we're spinning like actual records. Like we've had a couple of like situations where people be like, oh my God, like those are actual records. Like that's actual vinyl. And it's like, yeah, you know, like, oh my God, that's old school. And like old people coming up to us like, sorry, I don't mean to call them old. I mean, but you know what I mean? Like
the elders.
Even more. Elder.
you know, just people who have like haven't seen it in a long time.
Yeah.
And they're like, man, like that's old school. Like you're really taking me back. And like they really appreciate it and like, you know, find the joy in it. And it's a lot more harder, honestly, like because we have a certain selection.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like that we have to work with our certain selection. And what we bring is what we bring. And that's it. You know, like there's
requests. Sometimes they get denied.
they have to get the I'm like, you know,
Sorry.
I'm sorry. I don't have
Yeah.
Bad Bunny on vinyl. Like,
Wow.
I just don't.
Yeah.
But you know, there have
Just
been
don't.
situations.
I just don't have
I
it.
just don't. I don't know what you want to plug in your phone. But there have been situations where we'll pull out like
Yeah.
you know like the virtual stuff. You know, I would love to practice that a little bit more too. That's a lot of fun. You know, like
Yeah.
that's a lot of fun. But I do like to. We've really wanted to keep it real old school.
Yeah.
Like doing records and stuff like that. And you know, we're still learning.
Yeah.
We're definitely
It's
still
more
learning.
respectable too, I would say. Like, you know, you get the elders like coming up and giving you props, but also just like the whole thing with like DJing and transitioning and everything, you're more like in tune with it, like, you know, because you got to be listening, you got to be looking for that groove and everything. So, you know, versus like digital, it's just like there's a line right there, boom.
Yeah, I know.
Transition, super easy.
It is so easy.
I'm still working on my focus. Amanda. Oh yeah.
Just let the whole thing play.
Well, the song's about to end.
Oh yeah.
Amanda, no drinks on the table, Amanda.
I'm always learning the hard way. No, I'm learning. I've been learning now.
But yeah, it's super like before I met her, like I wasn't like hip hop. Like I didn't really have like defined music genres that I like. But like being around all the shows, meeting all the artists, YouTube, like that to me, y'all taking it back with the records, learning just like less than a year ago, but like you got the spirit. We saw it at the show,
Yeah.
you know, at the XL.
Yeah.
Like you two are so natural, just vibing, dancing,
Yeah,
vibing. Y'all
yeah.
set the mood, and it was super cool.
Yeah, that was a fun show.
But like it's super hip hop, just the way you're doing it, and you two would get mad respect from like any hip hop head or hip hop cat. Just with the vinyl. Like
Yeah.
that it was that when it first started, or like in the 70s, the breakdancing, and then the the turntables. Like
I wish I could break dance.
I'm trying to bring breakdancing back.
Yeah.
Oh,
man.
I'm too old. I can't do it.
Like, I mean, I won't breakdance, but like I'll spin for somebody who wants to breakdance.
Yeah, there
Like
you go.
Yeah, that'd be
we've
fun.
talked
Yeah.
about it like in the beginning, but like like, man, imagine like us like spinning for like a breakdancing competition or something. That would be dope.
sick. Yeah.
Yeah, but it is super hip hop, and I think it's super cool that we got a hip hop artist in the crew. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
super
It's
dope.
I want to
because-
be my own DJ.
like not only do we like pull up and like spin records, but like we're also have like Sofa hop on the mic and
Yeah.
she spits some words. So on top of all that, yeah, like man, I don't know, if I saw us I'd be like, wow, mad
Yeah.
props.
I feel like I haven't been really jumping too much on the mic. But
no, well, because there's
Yeah.
we try to do shows as much as possible, but
yeah.
we have to pick up gigs,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
to get our names out there and stuff like that. And the gigs that we pick up haven't really been like crowds
yeah.
like to hear, like
It's more chill.
It's like more chill and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
slowly but surely, it's right now we're just
But that's where us like organizing a show.
Mhm.
That's where like that comes in,
Yeah.
because we've done
I don't know.
like as far as us actually putting on an event.
oh, honestly, maybe like 3.
Yeah, maybe 3. Maybe
Yeah.
we did the
Right.
first
And
one.
there's a lot of planning.
Yeah.
It's a lot of organizing. And we want to make sure that it's well promoted. We
Yeah.
also try to pay our artists when we can.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not something that we just want to just throw together like last minute and make it happen. Like we
Yeah.
put a
Mhm.
lot of thought and a lot of love into this.
Yeah. And we work,
And we work and we're
And-
mothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have our babies,
Mhm.
So.
Yeah. So it's just a lot that comes into play. And not only that, but it's like, if I'm being completely honest, it's really hard to find female artists out here.
Yeah.
Like it really is,
Mhm.
and as whenever I find one, I'm like screenshot, write down their name, like for future event, like,
Yeah.
oh, I would love to collaborate. Like, this is what I do, this is who we are. But it's just really
Yeah.
hard. And like, I'm like always on the hunt, always on the hunt,
Always on the hunt for it.
always on the hunt.
What's crazy that I want to add is with like female artists being scarce, I feel like for some reason, I mean, whose dream is it not to like make it in the industry? You know what I mean, or want to get or reach that? But I feel like the industry takes most female artists that they can.
Yeah.
Just saying. So I'm like, where are the female artists? That's what you're wondering.
Yeah.
But I'm like, so I'm wondering, like, it's like not every female's like, nah, I'm gonna stay underground. Like I'm
Yeah.
gonna stay hip hop, keep it real,
Yeah.
keep it
Yeah.
roots. But
I think also too though, what could be the thing is also like fear and not having that representation of what you ladies are trying to do, right? Is to have a representation of like for example, for me, there weren't too many female artists I could look up to that weren't like Ranch or like
No, I know
so
what
the
you
only
mean.
person I had was like Snow the Product. Like, oh, she's wearing hoodies, I wear hoodies. She's wearing a beanie, she's just rapping. Like she ain't doing him, she's not doing other stuff. So like
Yeah.
I think that representation is another thing that is lacking.
Mhm.
So that some females that want to come out, they think that they have to be a certain way when really they can just be themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's so crazy that you say that about like just what you wear too and
Yeah.
how you present yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've had like comments said to me just about like, oh, you should dress more like this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
you're dope, but maybe if you dressed more like this,
Mm.
and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's a hard one.
Yeah.
we don't
That's
have
a
to go
hard
too
one.
deep into that.
Yeah,
but-
that could
What- but realizing what females are up against and what's the reality of I guess what sells and what doesn't and how to get your name out there more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's like with any artist out there, to be completely honest. Like,
Yeah.
when they start to call you a sellout or whatever, and like, like once people like start to make it big, it's because they signed a certain contract to look a different way and dress a different, like sit like a specific way and
Yeah.
speak a specific way and all that stuff, and It's tough out there. It really is tough out there. But not even just for artists, but just like as a woman in general, like growing up, like always been told like how to look and what to wear. And like I've struggled with that myself for like the longest time before I even got to where I'm at, like in this artist community, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's so deep. Yeah, like I used to be.
Damn, that's deep. Anyway,
no. I used to be really insecure too about what I wore, but I get somehow once we get old enough and then we start to gain awareness, we're like, oh wow, like people, or I guess look at me a certain way if I wear certain different things. But with young females, they grow up being aware of that more. Like,
absolutely.
Like told, like you said, told what to wear.
Absolutely.
Like, or like wanting to look like the other, more popular, you know.
Yeah. When I grew up, there was not colored thick Barbies.
Yeah.
You know, there were no color thick Barbies. there was not. There was no color thick models or anything like that. Like I'm grateful that, you know, now like that stuff is being spoken about, and that like there are movies that I'm like proud to show my daughter and be like, man, that was actually a really good message. You know, like we didn't really have that growing up, to be completely honest. And not only that, but just the way that I grew up and like all these things, like, you know, I wouldn't like go out looking like the way that I look right now out of fear of being like called a tomboy, you know, like I was not feminine enough and stuff like that. Like that was always like a struggle. But anyway, we could go on about that forever.
Yeah, same here. I mean,
Power to you. Power
I
to
like
all
sneakers. My mom be like, why don't you wear sandals? I like sneakers. I love Nike, so you know. But that was kind of like another thing that I wanted to ask, because like me and you could go on about being an artist, being a female artist, but when you guys are trying to throw events, like the fact that you guys are women, how has that experience, do you think, influenced it? Or is it like easier to throw shows because you're women, or is it a little bit harder, or do you think that even matters?
I think there's been like moments where we've sensed weirdness, or like not the support, I guess, or people, I guess, just not expecting us to show up prepared. And then there's also been times where I feel like we've collaborated with other women, owners of spaces, and that usually goes a lot smoother.
Yeah, definitely.
From my personal experience, as far as what we've been doing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
there's definitely been times where people have expected less of us, or like they expect us to show up not as prepared as we show up, or like the way that we show up, if that makes sense, or they don't take us as seriously. Like I definitely could tell the difference. Yeah, you know. But there has been situations where we meet other dope women, like we're just as excited to meet them as they're just excited to meet us, and we're like, okay, let's collaborate, you know. So there's definitely ups and downs for sure, but I do think that it's a struggle, of course. You know, people don't take us as seriously, unfortunately. Just there's been a couple of situations, you know.
I feel like it's still so new that there's been a few occasions, but like nothing to the point where I would be like, wow, that was a really bad experience. You know.
Okay.
Like that was terrible.
Yeah.
Like I can't believe that I just went through that.
It's more like, that was a little sus.
Yeah. Like I don't really like how.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like we'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
But that was kind of some weird energy, you know.
Okay.
Or also just like there's been situations where, you know, we're doing what we're doing, and how do I put this into correct words? Like not necessarily like that people don't take us seriously, but they'll kind of put us in a category because we are women in a more, how do I say it?
Like male dominated?
Like
I've actually seen more, I feel like I've seen more support than I thought.
For sure.
Yeah.
No, for sure. But like there's been like, you know, like how we were talking about how we dress and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, like people will start to like look at us in like with different eyes, if that makes sense. Like an attracted.
There's only been one time where I felt kind of weird with somebody.
Yeah.
Like really weird.
Yeah, like you know, like sometimes we get weird energy. Is all. Like sometimes we'll get like people like, but I guess that's anywhere really. I don't know. It's a new for me. Like it's a new experience for me for sure.
Is it like during the shows?
Yeah.
Is it from males?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, I'm trying to be really careful with my words. I'm like, how do I say this? But yeah, you know, like we'll like men will give us like weird energy.
Yeah.
In a way, yeah, you ladies are coming into the space. You are the live like performers. You're the attraction in a way. So that's the interesting. You're like navigating.
It's different.
Trying to be
it's
yourself.
different for me. Yeah.
Trying to stay in character and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting for sure.
Yeah.
Even her sometimes.
No, yeah.
Because
if I'm like, if I like stray away or something, and like, there's always weird energy from dudes. Like, because they're like, oh, I've never seen a female rapper before or some like. They don't know how to act.
She's like, she's her height,
and
but
I'm
she's like so powerful on the mic.
Yeah.
You know.
And she intimidates. There's artists
it's interesting.
that are like intimidated and they're like, you know.
You know, it's funny because like, I guess when it comes to performing, like emceeing, I've always gotten like, it's pretty annoying actually. Like the, oh wow, you're actually good.
Yeah.
You know, like, like that's not a compliment, dude. Like that's
why
not
would
a
you say that?
compliment at all, you know?
Dude, I've heard people say that about you too.
Oh wow, like you actually got bars. Like, oh, you actually don't suck. Like people have told me like, yeah, like usually women suck at rapping.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard that, but to me that statement makes it seem like in their mind they already look at you.
They already thought I was gonna suck.
They already have the expectation.
Wow.
You know?
That's
horrible.
Well, you know what? That's over now. All right, the women, they're coming up.
You know?
Okay.
Yeah, and as far as like weirdness, probably just get offered a lot of drinks. And so that and now it's like, just buy my album. Like, don't buy me a drink.
There's a tip jar.
Buy our merch.
Yeah, go buy our merch.
Exactly.
Like I drink water. You know? Yeah.
Water that I pour myself. Thank you.
So I'm curious too on kind of like you said it a little bit back when you guys were talking about how you're an MC and you're mainly on the records, but like how has that like dynamic, but you're also learning too, so how has that dynamic like inspired you or helped you grown as individuals, like in your artistic growth?
I mean, for me it's like, okay, wow, this is something like I've only really had to worry about rocking the mic. Like, didn't really have to pay too much attention to anything else. And I was like, okay, I have a lot to learn. You know? So kind of just like, I can't really be talking anymore.
You know what's crazy though is that like when we started doing it, like she wouldn't even want to get on the mic unless she was rapping and she was spitting bars. So she would be like, no, you go ahead, you grab the mic, you say something.
So
I was like,
it's weird. I don't know what it is. Like, it's so weird for me to like just talk on the mic because I guess I'd never had to do that. Like, I never had to host as like not being, yo, what's up, I'm La Sofa Queen. Like, never as like, oh, hey, this is Sofa Queen and now I'm spinning, you know, or so it was just a different transition and I didn't feel comfortable with it at all. Still kind of, I'm not that comfortable with it. I do it a little bit more now, but just getting out of that too, you know, like,
and by nature, are you an introvert?
No, I don't know. I feel like I'm like both. I go through seasons of being an introvert and then I'm definitely like, I'm a people person. Like, if I'm out there, like, it's easy for me to make conversation with people, you know, interact with people. I work in healthcare, so it's like I'm around people all the time. But I definitely like my own space. Like, I love my own space. And I also read the crowd. So sometimes I'm like, I don't really need to. I'm just gonna stand over here.
They don't really want to hear me right now.
Not really the time.
And have you ever had that similar feeling of like not wanting to be on the mic, like knowing that she's like a FMC or anything, or does that inspire you more?
No, I mean,
she has
like,
bars.
There's been
she really does.
There's been times where we're like, no, you say something.
I'm like, okay, I'll say something.
But I think like we kind of like everything really divine timing, you know, like I really like started to get close to her like at a really perfect time. I mean, at first I was really dealing with like my own insecurities. Like I went through a phase like a long time ago where like I really hated women, and I was like, I can only be friends with guys. Girls are too sensitive, you know. And you know, and I was just like, no, like I can't do it. And like And that just comes from a really hurt place, like, to be completely honest. And it also came from a place where I was not able to be vulnerable with myself. And I was not able to face my own emotions and, like, to get in touch with my own, like, divine feminine energy within myself. And finally, like, I discovered, like, that within me, and I started to meet really beautiful women. And Amanda was one of those people. And I remember looking at Amanda and being like, whoa, she's so cool, you know, like, she's so dope. Like, no, like, oh my God, like I think she's so amazing. And like, what, like, you want to hang out with me? Like, you know, like, I really went through that with, like, a lot of people, not just Amanda, but Amanda especially. Like, oh, you want to come to my place? Like, you want to spin records at my house? Like, you know, like, you want to, you know, I'm your friend, you know, like, and just over time, it really helped me be more vulnerable with myself, and it helped me express my emotions. And it all just came into play with, I was taking a creative writing class. I started going to open mics. I started being inspired, like, all over the place, you know, and writing has always been something that has helped me a lot through my own healing journey. And over time, I just started realizing I always had put poetry in a category. It had to rhyme. It had to sound a certain way. The A B, whatever, like BS. You know what schemes. I mean? Yeah. And then I realized, like, what I was writing. What that means. It's because the creative writing class. It was like, you know, like, what? Anyways, I'll explain it to you later. And I realized that, like, what I was writing was just as beautiful, and what I was writing was just as expressive. And I finally decided to, like, grab the mic, go up on open mic. You know, there's a lot of people up on stage that I was like, oh, I could do that, you know, like, oh, I didn't know that you could do that. Like, I could do that. And then seeing Amanda on stage, I was like, dang, like, that's amazing. That's awesome. That's beautiful. And, like, just being really inspired by that. And then it's made me want to start writing more and speaking more. And so, you know, now I'm proud to say that I do a lot of spoken word, and, like, you know, I have a lot of poetry. So I've grown more and more comfortable on the mic. And so when we started Ruca Records, I was like, I want to get even more comfortable on the mic. So I would go out of my way to grab the microphone. And, like, you know, there was times I was practicing in the shower, practicing in the car, practicing in the mirror, like, you know, just in my car driving, yo, what's up, everybody? You know, like, over and over and over and over again, like, just trying to, like, get myself to be more comfortable with what it would be like to speak in front of a crowd. And here we are.
That's what's up. So I'm curious on, like, do you ladies want to, like, implement that, or have you already implemented the poetry spoken word thing into your presence when you come as Ruca Records?
We have, like, when we have opportunities to.
We did host a poetry slam for the Women's Center at UC Santa Cruz, so that was really cool. I've done something similar to that one time at the Bearded Bean, but it was just really cool to be able to do that and take it to, like, a different level. And would love to do more of that. That was actually pretty sweet. In other spaces, doesn't necessarily have to be there, but
our next event is gonna be an open mic poetry slam kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
And it's gonna be an art show, so that we'll be displaying art, like, multiple female artists. And while you get to go in and look at the art and buy, like, the art that you'd like, we're also going to be hosting, like, an open mic poetry slam kind of thing. October 22nd.
Yeah.
And where?
But the
location is kind of, like, to be determined. Like I said, you know, it's really hard to find spaces to do the things that we want to do. But we're going to do it. We're going to make it happen. So we have artists already lined up. Awesome, amazing artists lined up. So we just have the time and the date and the artist so far. But we're working on a location.
Yeah.
But it's going to be really dope, because I really think that it is hard to find spaces to do what we want to do, but if we could fully show up 100% as ourselves, we would be spinning records and spinning on the mic at the same time. For sure.
Yeah. I just love when other women come up on the mic, because I feel like, even though it doesn't seem that long, like, I've been doing this for a little while. And sometimes I feel like, man, like, other women deserve an opportunity to rock the mic. And locally, there isn't really that many, like, that I personally know, like, aside from you, like, there isn't that many that I know in my town that's rocking like that. And so, like, seeing her get more confident in her performing, and even just seeing the growth in her being more confident up there with holding the mic and stage presence, like, that's beautiful, you know. Because I could just imagine what you're going to be in next year, where you're going to be next year with just your deliverance and your cadence. Because that takes time to grow into your cadence.
Yep.
Like, oh man, that takes time. But it's beautiful, like once you've seen it or once you hear the growth in your voice. It's a really beautiful thing. So,
I mean, I have already in just a couple of months, you know, like from when the first time I went up on the mic at the stage, nobody even listened to me, you know?
Yeah.
Nobody was even paying attention to me. Everybody was talking to each other, whatever.
Yeah.
Up until like now when I get up on stage, like,
you're like, yo, be quiet.
Like,
Yeah.
not really, but like a little bit. But you know, like it's different. It's for sure different. Like, you know, when I see that growth, it's really empowering, like in a very beautiful way, like in a not egotistical way at all.
Yeah.
But it's really awesome to be up on stage and hold a mic and speak and have people actually listen to what you're saying.
Yep.
Like, and to quiet the room and have all eyes on you. And I'm like, okay, like I'm gonna speak to you right now, like things that, and you know, and you hit people. And you can see when you hit somebody. You can see when like a specific word, a specific sentence hits somebody in that room, in that crowd, like in that they were supposed to be there at that moment to hear those words. You know, I'm sure you guys know that.
Yeah.
I'm sure y'all know that, you know. And that's why we're doing what we're doing, all of us, you know. That's why we're doing what we're doing, is to continue to inspire and be inspired. Because the reason why y'all don't know other hip-hop female artists, like besides yourselves really, is because there hasn't been enough of you continuing to doing what you're doing, you know.
Yeah.
But just keep doing what you're doing, and you're gonna get little girls like me. You know, like
my little sis. I know, I forget that you're a lot younger than me.
I'm a little baby. Yeah. I fully admit that.
Yeah.
I just want to throw in that's the cool part about also what you ladies are doing, because that's the MC element, is demanding attention from the crowd, and you know what I mean, taking the stage, the master of ceremonies, right? So that's the other cool like part, if you didn't like realize that, like
commanding the space, like taking that,
reclaiming.
I guess one more question that I wanted to ask was for other women out there that have somewhat of a similar background or similar story or similar desire to want to create something to emphasize creativity and to exercise it. Like what have you ladies learned together starting this and doing it? And what advice do you have for other women who might want to start something similar or just want to, you know, figure out some way to start expressing themselves?
That's a good question. Because there's so many different, like, I feel like Mariah was a really big part in me. Like, it was always a thought, but I never really put it to practice. It was always a thought. And for me, it was always like, oh, I kind of have to stay in my own lane. Like, I'm good at emceeing, so maybe I should just stick to emceeing, even though I want to do all these other things. Like, I honestly just doing it. Like, just doing it. Like, she inspired me when she just was like, dude, I'm just gonna buy the equipment, and she just bought it, and like, oh, okay, like, we're here.
She did the damn thing.
Like, she just did it. Like, she just went, and she's like, here we are. Now we got this equipment. Like, what's up? You know? I'm like, okay.
I'm serious. Are you serious? Because I'm serious. Like, we had to do it. I'm like, no, like, we're really serious.
Like, oh, okay, so now we really serious now. Like, okay, we're not playing. So yeah, I mean, and just being like open to like meeting Mariah was not like this thing like, oh yeah, we're just gonna start Ruca Records. It was just a thing that just happened.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of things just happened in our own personal lives, and then just in our friendship together. People are gonna say stuff regardless, you know, so just do it and pursue. Like, for me, it's a little different because I was already doing the hip-hop thing, so I was already used to just doing something that I wanted to do. Like, it took me a long time to just pick up the mic. I started rapping since I think like early 20s, but started writing poetry like from the age of 16 to my early 20s. But from the age of like 16, I became a mom at 16, so it was just like this thing that I would just do for myself. You know, like not really share with anybody. And then once I got to the point where it's like, hey, I kind of want to share this with people. I'm kind of ready to share this with people. When I finally made that transitioned in my early 20s, it was just like, man, why didn't I just do this a long time ago? Like, what was I so afraid of?
Yeah.
You know, like, why didn't I share all this stuff then when it was fresh?
Yeah.
You know? And I almost feel like I wasted time. But at the same time, it's like, things happen the way that they're supposed to happen. You know, and there was a reason why I wasn't putting out that stuff at that time. But I do wish that I had that confidence to have just, like, done it then and there.
I love
You know?
that spirit because, like, for the longest time, I've like, lacked that spirit. And then when I finally did it, everyone was afraid because I was doing it. But nobody wanted to do it with me. But I just kept doing it. And that spirit is what sparked that fire in her to just be like, let's do it. Let's, you know what I mean?
And even you are so inspiring with making your own beats and, like, doing that. Because that's also something that I've wanted to do too. But also never felt like, I don't really got the time. I don't really have the equipment. Just a lot of excuses. I was making a lot of excuses. You know? And so seeing you pursue that, like, dude, that's dope. You're so multi-talented.
Thank you.
You know? And yeah, like, if you really want it, you're going to do it. It's really like that simple. You know?
So remember that, Nike. Just do it.
Sponsored by.
If you forget.
I rock Vans, though.
Shout out to all of them. No, I was going to say the mentality that you said, like 10, 15 minutes a day doing what you want to focus on, that right there, like, you could learn anything. And
it's true.
There's TED Talks on that all day. But yeah, shout out, like, just to that. And then I think I heard what you were saying, then you started talking, but just having, like, because you can have the drive to do it, but definitely having someone to, like, believe in you just a little bit, that will help you for sure get over your own insecurities, your own doubt. And that's the important thing.
I love that because I feel like in that moment when we were chilling in your room talking and just, like, I feel like we both believed in it so much. Like, we both were so, like, what? We're gonna do this. Like, we're gonna do this.
It's gonna
happen. Felt like we were just, like, hyping each other's like we were like fanning each other's flames. You know what I mean?
We totally were believing in each other, believing in ourselves. But, like, in order to get to that point, though, we had to do a lot of our own individual work. Like, we had to do a lot of our own individual work to get to where we were supposed to be, which I wanted to talk about, like, to answer your question, was that, like, to anybody out there, like, especially the women out there that are, like, thinking about putting themselves in a different situation or wanting to get out of a certain environment, wanting to surround themselves with more love, is just, like, realizing that you got to do the work and just accepting that, like, there's work that needs to be done. Like, yes, like, you can pray on things and yes, you can manifest things, but how far will that go if you're just going to sit there and you're not going to do any work? You know, doing that 10 to 15 minutes a day on anything. You want to read more? Okay, set an alarm. 5 minutes a day, you know? You want to start flossing again? You know, like, set an alarm.
That dental health.
Anywhere in your life, you got to do your own, like, self work. You got to put in that work into your own journey, into developing, into wanting. You got to want to be better. Like, every single day, like, what has got me to be where I am is just asking myself at the end of the day, how can I be better tomorrow? You know, how can I better myself tomorrow? Or every single morning I wake up, what do I want to do better today than what I did yesterday? And always just striving to be the best version of yourself. And a lot of why I used to hate women and a lot of why I didn't really want women friends was because I was grown up and, like, raised to believe that women were supposed to be in competition with each other. And that ain't it. Like, that's not it. We are not supposed to be in competition with each other. Anywhere that you read anything that goes far, far, far into, like, our ancestry, we were raised to be in a community with each other. Like, we are literally made to work together and like, we work better together. And so once I kind of grasped that, like, reality and that realization, I was able to accept the fact that, like, I'm not supposed to be doing this alone. You know, and once you get to that realization alone, you start to become more vulnerable and you start to open yourself up to these opportunities and all these blessings and all these amazing people start to flow into your life. They really do. And once you start to take out the ones that no longer serve you, take out the things, the bad habits, the old coping mechanisms, all the stuff that doesn't serve you anymore, you just let it all go and you just accept the fact that you got to be alone for a little while to work on yourself. and all the good things will flow in.
Mm-hmm.
And just remember that everything that you do it with love.
Yep.
Do it all with love.
Exactly.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
And that's our motto, you know. Every single time we're like whenever we feel doubt in something, Amanda and I, whenever we feel like a weird energy in certain situations and like gigs or whatever it is, like we'll look at each other, like if she's feeling down or I'm feeling down, like, and we just consistently remind each other like why we're doing it and like what we're doing it for, and we'll be like, it's all right, like it's gonna go exactly the way that God wants it to go. And as long as we're doing it for love, like it's gonna happen exactly the way that it's supposed to happen, like for love, for the benefit of ourselves, for the benefit of Ruca Records.
That's the important part.
That's my TED
knowing
Talk.
the why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For real. Like,
Your intentions.
I question a lot of that too. Like sometimes, because like I'm trying to do this podcasting, right? And it's hard to get people to realize how much information and important information that we can get just from our peers.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So that's beautiful. You couldn't have said it better. It's just realizing your why when you're feeling like just giving up, or when you're feeling like just doubt. Why am I doing this? Okay. Pick yourself up. Go do it. You know?
Just to add, like that, like me being, I mean, all of us probably have some entrepreneurial spirit, that hustle, you know, mentality when we know we got to get things done. But having a strong why, like that right there is like the difference between people who achieve their dreams and people who don't. It's like when you wake up and you know like why you're doing it, why, what you're gonna do today, for what reason, like that, nothing can really stop you. Like there could be obstacles, but when you're dedicated to why you're doing it, that take you very far.
Yeah.
And honestly, everybody's like definition of success is different. You know, like what my version of success might look like to me is different from what like it might look like to her, what it might look like to you.
Of course.
Yeah.
You know, but definitely like knowing your intentions. Like what do you want from it? Man, with my artistry, it's just ever changing. It's like ever evolving. It's like so much happens, and it's definitely a part of me.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a get rich type scheme. Like it's not a, oh, I have to be the most like sickest MC. Like it's none of that. It's a lot of like, okay, like how could I use what I'm going through to maybe help somebody else out, you know? And what I've loved the most about just personally for in my music is like the youth that it reaches, and the young women that it reaches. Like I have a daughter, you know, so obviously she knows what I'm rapping about, you know what I mean? And I meet a lot of young women like ages 10, like the sweetest thing is like when they come up to me and they're like, oh, like your stuff was so cool, like I want to listen to more of your music, or you know, because I remember being 10 and having a lot of like just the things that I was dealing with that I didn't know how to properly express, or that I just didn't have the self-love. I definitely didn't know God the way I know God now. Yeah, I just felt alone.
Yeah.
Alone a lot of the time. Just throwing that in there.
We're definitely coming to our close, but I just want to say thank you, ladies, for being on and expressing everything that you have. Do you have any final thoughts or anything you like to share, where people could find you and, you know?
Well, Ruca Records on Instagram. There's a website, right?
So first and foremost, before I get there,
Oh, okay.
I just want to say that there's enough room for all of us.
Yes.
That's one thing that I had to learn is in the Salinas Valley.
Yeah.
You know, is that some people believe that they got to be the best at it, like whatever it is in that category.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's not true, man. Like there's enough room for all of us to express ourselves and do the art that we like love and the art that calls to us. But on Instagram, it's Ruca_Records.
Yes.
Is where you can find us. And we just dropped the website. It just, you know, you could see some pictures of us. It tells us about us, our little story, our mission statement. There's some merchandise on there if you want to cop. And it's rucarecords.love. And we will have an art show coming up October 22nd. There will be a flyer.
Yeah.
For sure.
The info will be on the website as well?
Yeah, it'll be on the website and the Instagram and things like that.
Wow.
Pretty much it.
The-
Thank you for
Oh yeah, and thank you. Thank
for-
you so much for having us.
you
This is
know.
a really beautiful opportunity. We really love
Definitely.
having any
We
opportunity
love
to grab a
supporting
mic.
you. We love supporting you. We love supporting 1 a.m. She's just super dope.
Thank you.
Always been super sweet.
Thank
You
you.
know.
Yeah, I'm glad this really happened today.
Yeah.
It's definitely divine. Like, like that word was used. The timing, us getting together. It's crazy because like we almost like are like hesitant, like, oh, should we continue the podcast?
Yeah.
But I guess it doesn't matter how much views or how much listens it's getting.
Yeah.
But this is the documentation of our lives,
Mhm.
your
Yeah.
journeys. So that's we can't forget how what we're really doing in the midst of it. But yeah, I'm thankful for you too for opening up how you did, sharing what you've been through, and just letting other people know, like it's okay what you're going through, but like just being able to pick yourself up, get out of it, and like keep going. But more people need to hear things like this, what you were saying, what you're going through, you too, in your journey, in your artistry, but just also being a woman, being a mom.
Just like sometimes when you're in the midst of it, it's really hard to see God's hand in things.
Mm.
And then when things like when you're out of it, when you're out of that darkness, like then you could see like, wow, like, Lord, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's
That's
you,
so
you
true.
could get stuck in
That's
some
so,
really
yeah.
heavy darkness.
Mm-hmm.
All
You
praise
know.
and thanks.
Yeah. And it's ever going. Like, just because you're having a good time right now, like, hardship is always going to continue to be there,
Oh yeah.
and it's always going to continue to come. And really the way that you deal with it and what you choose to believe in, honestly, it makes a difference.
Yep.
So thank you for this space, because that was a blessing.
Wow.
I'm really glad that we were able to do this though.
Yeah.
You guys really
perfect.
help provide safe space, like we were just talking about, for artists to express themselves and talk about, and it also helps us reflect again, like why we started, how we started, and what we're doing. Like it gives us a little refresher,
Mm.
so that we're like, yeah, I feel like I just motivated myself right now,
I know. I got a little bit of inspiration too.
I'm like, I might just go home and spin some records.
Yeah.
There you go.
I was actually feeling a little down before this.
I'm gonna go write a poem.
Record it too,
Hey.
document it. But yeah,
And then we get to look back on this video. You know what I mean? Like when we make it, Sofa, we're gonna be like, man, remember we did that little interview?
That's a
On the
big thing.
couch.
It's a big thing. Come on. I'm little, but we do big things here.
Oh no, for sure. You're like the perfect definition of that.
big things come in tiny packages.
Yeah.
We fun size.
Wow.
Fun size.
But yeah, I'm so excited for what all of you decide to keep doing, and what else like is planned. I know big things are definitely on the rise for or on the horizon for all of us, for sure. Yeah, like God's hand is holding on to some things, but they're in time.
It's like that song. I literally just did a song with someone. It's in God's hands. Yeah, it's in God's hands. Like,
nice.
Oh yeah,
we're talking
okay.
about God's hand, right? It's
That's so
a
dope.
weird synchronicity, but
Divine timing.
Honestly, I just
the universe works in really mysterious ways. Like really mysterious ways. Sometimes when you feel like odds are against you, or like there's some energy out there that's just working against you, and you just feel like, man, like somebody put a curse on me or something, like so many things are happening like wrong, like and then you just kind of realize that like once you break away from that energy and that mindset, you start to really see the beauty in things, and like, oh, that's why that happened the way that it happened. Or like sometimes you don't even know that the things happen the way that they happen to get you where you are today. But like every day, just reflect. That's where journaling and writing came in for me a lot. Is like picking up old journals and being like, oh my God, I forgot I was feeling that way.
sad over this.
Why was I sad over that man?
Girl, get your life together.
But just progress and just evolving, growing, and
All right. Well, once again, thank you, ladies, for being on the podcast. This is Ruca Records. You were listening to the Artists at Work podcast. I'm your host, 1 a.m.
Isaias, thank you for rocking with us today.
Yep. And stay tuned for the next one.
Yeah.
Peace.